Hey everyone, welcome to the Raw Reset. If you're new here, I'm Amber and I'm on a journey to lose 100 pounds utilizing the raw food lifestyle. Today we're making a super delicious pasta dish and I'm calling it Bella Vita Pasta, which means beautiful life. And so I'll go over all the ingredients with you and then we'll get into making the recipe. So first things first, you need a blender for this to make our sauce. And you're going to need a spiralizer for our zucchini noodles. The spiralizer I will link below. This one is super handy dandy. It's super easy to use and it's super cheap. So our sauce is going to be a creamy sauce for this. So we do need some soaked cashews. These are some soaked cashews that I've already soaked and I've kept them in my refrigerator. We need some nutritional yeast. We need some sun-dried tomatoes. These are in oil with no sulfites. We need a little bit of lemon juice. We need some cherry tomatoes. I'm going to use a zucchini and a yellow squash. And I forgot to add that we are going to add some kelp noodles to this dish. So it's going to be squash, yellow squash. Zucchini will be our vegetable noodles. And then we're going to add some kelp noodles as well. We need some red onion, some onion powder, some smoked paprika. We need some kalamata olives. And I will also put a link to a good website that has some raw olives below. We need some sea salt. We need a little bit of water, a garlic clove, and I just have a little bit of parsley for garnish, or you can also use basil. All right, so I'm gonna clear this up here and we'll get right into our recipe. So I'm gonna show you how to soak some kelp noodles or prepare them. We're gonna do that step first. All right, we're gonna start with these kelp noodles here. And I got these on Amazon and I'll make sure that there's a link included. If you've never tried them, they're really pretty flavorless, but they have a nice texture to them, like a spaghetti texture. So I like to include these in my pasta dishes. I don't like to use them solely as the noodle. I like to really mix them with the zucchini or squash like we're doing today. But you need to prepare these because they have to soak for a little bit. First things first, you're gonna drain the liquid that's inside of there and you're gonna put the noodles in a bowl like this. So we're gonna put the kelp noodles in a big bowl and we're gonna put some, I have half a lemon here. I'm gonna put half a lemon juiced over to the top. And then you can soak this in warm water so that your pasta is not as cold. So I'm going to soak it in some water and just set it aside. It's going to soak for about 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes until the noodles get soft. I don't know if you remember those jelly sandals in the 80s, but that's what this reminds me of. So you want to break it apart too, and it's easy to do that once it's in the water. So I'm going to add some water to it and we'll get these babies soaking. All right, and then we're gonna make sure this is all, these are covered. Okay, so we got our kelp noodles soaking, and you're just gonna wanna break them up as much as possible here. And you're gonna let that soak in the water and the lemon juice. Some people like to add baking soda to this. They think that helps them soften up easier. I tend to just do the lemon juice and they work fine for me. And you can add baking soda and lemon juice if you prefer. Okay, so this is going to soak for about 10 minutes and let it hang. Okay, we're going to start by peeling and spiralizing our zucchini. So I just have a paper towel here. I'm just going to peel these really quick. And I don't want the peel showing in the pasta. And I want the pasta to look like spaghetti noodles. I think zoodle pasta on a raw vegan diet or lifestyle is most of our go-tos for a meal. So the main thing is finding a sauce that you just absolutely love. And I think this one might be one of your go-to sauces after you try it. I have a paper plate here, so I'm going to spiralize the zucchini and the squash. And then throw a little salt on it and set it aside because the zucchini is about 95% water and it starts to water down the pasta sauce, and we don't want that. So I'm going to get rid of as much moisture as I can while I make our sauce. And I'll show you how we do that once I'm done here. So I will speed this up for you. All right, and that's what you're going for. I have some thin noodles there. So now we're going to throw a little bit of salt on these. And I have some sea salt here. So we're going to just put a little bit of sea salt. And that's going to extract most of the moisture out of this so that it doesn't water down our sauce too much. So just a couple pinches of salt. And we're going to set this aside while we make our sauce. All right, guys, so we're going to get our sauce going. So first things first, I have my soaked cashews. These have been pre-soaked and then I just put them in the fridge. So we only need a 1/4 cup of these. So I'm going to just kind of put those in there now. This is a 1/4 cup. That goes right into our blender. And then we need a 1/4 cup of our sun-dried tomatoes. These are the sun-dried tomatoes in oil. We need a 1/4 cup of those as well. All right, so that was about 6 sun-dried tomatoes for a 1/4 cup. And then we're going to take 1 tablespoon of the oil out of the sun-dried tomatoes. We're going to put that right in there. Now, if you don't do oil, you can totally use regular sun-dried tomatoes. Just soak them before you put them in there. All right, we need 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. I'm just going to squirt this in here. All right, there's 1 tablespoon. And then we'll get the other one going here. All right, 2 tablespoons there. All right, we need 1 garlic clove. Put that in there. We need 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. We need a 1/4 teaspoon of smoked paprika. That's just really a small, very small amount. So I'm just going to put a tiny dash in there, just like that. Just a little bit to add a little bit more layers of flavor in there. And then we're going to do the same for onion powder. We just need a 1/4 teaspoon as well. I think I said tablespoon before, but it's a teaspoon. So just a little bit of onion powder. And then we need a little sea salt. So I'm going to do 2 pinches of sea salt. And then you can adjust the salt as needed. And then we need a little bit of water just to blend this up here. And I put about a 1/4 cup of water in this container. I'm going to start slow. So that was about a couple teaspoons, or I'm sorry, that was a couple tablespoons of water. And I forgot to add the onion, which is totally fine. You can do that at any stage. You can even chop the red onion if you wanted to have it fresh, like pieces in your pasta. But I'm going to actually just add it to the sauce. So we just need a handful of onion, so about a 1/4 cup. So yeah, see, that's still pretty thick. Needs a little bit more salt. And then I'm going to add just a little bit more water. I'm going to give it a little more taste here. All right, that's tasting really good. I'm going to let it run just a little bit longer. All right, the sauce looks great. So we're going to take that off, set it aside. All right, now that our pasta sauce is done, we're going to go ahead and chop up some of these tomatoes, and we're going to add those into our pasta. Now, you could have added the tomatoes to the sauce too if you wanted. I like the tomatoes actually incorporated into the pasta whole, but you can do it either way you want. So I'm just going to chop these up right now, and then we'll assemble our pasta so that they're kind of bite size. And you can use grape tomatoes for this if you want. You can use any kind of tomato. If you want to use a Roma tomato, you certainly could. And I also started a garden growing tomatoes, so I'm going to have lots of tomatoes to use. All right, now that our tomatoes are all chopped up, we might not use all of those, that's quite a bit. We're going to get our zucchini noodles, and a lot of the moisture, as you can probably see, they are sweating. So I'm going to get a paper towel and soak up that moisture so we can build our pasta. And all I do is just grab and squeeze, grab and squeeze. That whole paper towel is full of water. So you want to try to get all the water out as much as possible. Now we're ready to assemble our pasta. Now, as you can see, the kelp noodles are nice and soft, very pliable, and ready to be added to our zucchini and our squash, which I've soaked up almost all of the moisture. So I'm just going to add the kelp noodles right in. And we're going to kind of mix this up when the sauce is in there, so don't need to be crazy about it right now. All right, and then we're going to add our sauce right to it. And if you do add fresh tomatoes to your sauce, you probably will not need the water added. All right, and I'm going to toss this around a little bit in our sauce. Make sure everything's coated. And we're going to put some tomatoes in there. We're going to put our olives. I'm using about 10 olives. And we'll just mix this all around. And I'm going to add just the rest of these noodles. This is a big hearty bowl of pasta. All right, once that's all mixed up, I'm just going to put this in a bigger bowl for presentation purposes. Get all those olives and tomatoes. Okay, I'm going to sprinkle with a little bit of Italian parsley. And then I have this stuff here, which I'll put a link below. This is called Parmesan, and it's raw Parmesan cheese. And I don't think it was very expensive, but I'll put a link below if you want to top it with some of that. And there you have it, a beautiful bowl of pasta. Now I'm going to give this a taste. All right, guys, this looks divine. It looks so good. We're going to give it a taste. Grab everything in there. Yum, yum, yum. Grab a tomato, grab an olive. All right, we'll give it a go here. You guys, this is so good. Oh my gosh, this is so good. You guys have to try this recipe and let me know what you think. I love reading your comments below. Please try it out. I'll put all the links to everything I used, ingredients like this Ramazan. And if you're new on this lifestyle and you want to know how to get started and not be confused at all, you can download my free Raw Reset beginner guide. That's in the comments below, as well as the description. It will give you everything you need to get you ready to go on this lifestyle. And if you need accountability, support, you want to make new friends, you want to meet people in your area that are doing this lifestyle, join me in Club Raw. I do a live call every Monday. That's a food freedom call. And we talk about subjects like food addiction, emotional eating, weight loss, things like that. There is so much support there. I couldn't have done this lifestyle without the support of that community. So I hope to see you there. I'll put a link to join below as well. And thanks again for watching and supporting my channel. I truly appreciate you all. I love reading your comments. So please let me know what you think if you try the recipe. God bless you.